people see something that we write and say, how the hell did you do that? And then we say, oh, let me show you the source code. They go, yeah, I don't know how the hell you understand that. So that got me to thinking, why aren't more people interested in how software works? We use it every day. A lot of people start learning about pottery or wood carving, even though it's not part of their profession, but they never go home and look at software. Maybe because they're not geeky enough, I don't know. So I started thinking about it, is it because of the hardware? Is the hardware too complicated? I mean, computers are pretty scary looking, right? I mean, there's no moving parts. You don't even know if it breaks unless it catches fire. My uncle actually, when his hard drive started making noise, he sprayed WD-40 in it. That's totally true, by the way. So that was the first thing I thought about hardware, but then I thought, what about software? Software is scary. I mean, they don't call this the blue screen of, oh, I better restart my computer. They call this the blue screen of death. And why do they call it that? Because how do you fix that? You call somebody like me is pretty much how you fix that. So then Hollywood doesn't make it any easier. I hate this. I really hate this. CSI is the worst. If that's the network topology of South Florida, I'm moving there and helping them build a network. This is just ridiculous. And viruses are always in 3D. So this is why I've created a distinction between mystical and magical. Mystical software, only certain people can or should write it. If you're a muggle, you're not a wizard, that sort of thing. And you're always implied that you're missing something, education, glasses, something that keeps you from writing software, and I say, bullshit. It's actually magical. If I stood here and pulled a rabbit out of my pocket, you'd all be like, oh, hopefully. But the thing is, about 2 minutes later, you'd say, how the heck did you do that? And then you'd ask somebody, or you'd look online, and then maybe you'd go home and try to pull a rabbit out of your pocket. But this is the thing, this is how software used to be. Anyone remember King's Quest? Yeah! And now the software wasn't written like this because the computer wasn't too powerful or wasn't powerful enough. It's written this way because software wasn't powerful enough. They were still inventing how to write software properly. So this is what happens when you type, can you negotiate crossing terms with the angry troll guarding the bridge? I don't understand negotiate. I doesn't mean the character, I means the programmer. And I was reading this after I did it, and I really wish it had said something a little bit more interesting, like, I don't negotiate with terrorists. But it's not that smart. So, but software right now is really magical, right? I mean, the things that have been created over the last 6 months have been amazing. It'll pull songs out of the air, it'll show you where you're going before you get there, let you communicate instantly with all sorts of people. But I think it's because software has become infinitely easier to write. So this is for those of you who write software in the room, this isn't to scale. But basically, software programming languages are kind of like an onion. The easier ones are on the outside, they're really easy to digest, and then you get on the inside and you start to cry more and more and more. You get to assembly language and C and C++. So a lot of people will look at code like this for the first time, and they start to read it, but then as they start looking at it, like, I don't really know what that is, I don't really... But it's like learning a foreign language, but that's exactly how you should look at it. It's like learning a foreign language. Like when you study a foreign language, what's the first thing you learn to say? Hello! First thing you learn how to say. Yeah, you get into other things later, but pretty much you proclaim to the world, I'm going to learn this language, right? Computer science, no different. Every single computer programming language has a hello world program. It's only a few lines long, and you just basically make the computer say hi. It's really simple. Every programmer does it. I don't care how advanced you are. And it's no wonder that when they released the Mac, they released the first image was hello in cursive, which was amazing at the time. So hello world programs are extremely easy to write. They're designed to get you up and running in just a few minutes. And here are some examples of hello world programs. Notice they're all in English. Almost all programming languages are in English, which means you all have a leg up already. You don't have to write it in Russian. And up in the upper right, that's Facebook's hello world. Every platform, everyone has a hello world to get you started. with writing a program. And so I figured the easiest way to learn a programming language is to look at jokes. So the first, that's Hotel California in code. The second one is a certain song from Saturday Night Live. This third one is while the weather in Philadelphia is sunny. Oh no, is this an infinite loop? But anyway, so the one thing I love about programming is that you can't push undo on a kiln, right? And you can't undo something you did on a watercolor, and you certainly can't escape from a construction site. But code, you can change whenever you want, and it's very, very forgiving. You make a mistake, you can fix it in 30 seconds. And so that's why I wish more people would look at code as art. And so this is one of my favorite quotes. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he builds castles in the air from air, creating by exertion of the imagination. One types the correct incantation on the keyboard, and the display screen comes to life, showing things that never were and never could be. This is really cool. So that's what I want everyone here, when you go home, if you found this even remotely interesting, go out and look at the hello worlds for all these different places. If you want to write a Facebook app, want to write a Twitter app, want to write a LinkedIn app, I suggest you go do it. And my website will have whole lots of resources on the Pecha Kucha, or Pecha Kucha, oh God, thing. So anyway, thanks for your time, thanks for your attention, and start writing code.